So let me start this off with one of the coolest looking games on my list. This is Hyper Light Breaker, and it is an action RPG shooter game with a lot of platforming in this massive open world. There's boss fights everywhere, there's enemies to fight everywhere, there's a lot of places where you can discover things, a lot of traversing all over the place, and I like it. It looks fun, it looks cool. It's basically a fighting game at heart. It has a very nice art style. It looks like it's going to be a lot of fun to just explore in this world. It's not just fighting and hacking and slashing. There's a lot of third-person shooting as well, and there's a lot here. There's a lot going on, and I think they did a great job packing everything into this game from what I can see so far. I believe this is starting off on PC, but it probably will move to all platforms if it's very successful, so it will probably end up being an indie game that's on a lot of people's radar. All right, so next up we have The Crown of Wu. Now there's a game out there that was on my most anticipated games going forward, and that's Black Myth Wukong, and that game is coming out around the summertime of 2024. So that's a little ways out, but this game is out right now. It just came out this past week, and it's all about the unraveling of the mystery behind the stolen crown of Wu. And there's a lot of similarities between this and Black Myth Wukong. It's a little bit dialed back, but that's okay. There's still a lot of exploring, a lot of platforming with puzzle solving, and there's plenty of action to go around with boss fights as well. So this is right up my alley, and maybe it will hold me over before I play Black Myth Wukong itself. I look forward to this. I believe there is higher levels of difficulty as well as you go through the story, and it does have a lot of elements from the mythology in general. So I'm very interested in this, and I'm glad that there are some alternatives so that you're not just waiting for that one game and you have options before you play some of your most anticipated games that's a little bit further out from release. Now this one is called Trinity Fusion, and I really like this one here. It has very good graphics, and it's about 3 versions of the same character fused together, set in a sprawling doomed multiverse. And I like the whole concept here. It seems very unique, and there's a lot of hack and slash gameplay, a lot of enemies coming at you from different directions, up top and below and right in front of you. So there's a lot going on. You're exploring a dark world. This is mainly a sci-fi world with a lot of engaging, fast-paced combat, and there's precise things that you have to do in order to pull off really cool moves. So I really like this. Your character has a lot of cool abilities. You can do a lot of stealth, a lot of cloaking, and you could just go all out and hack and slash your way through it, but there's different ways for you to play this. And like I said before, it has very good graphics for this style of game. It reminds me of Metroid Dread in a way. This is developed by Angry Mob Games, and I think they have something special here, so I cannot wait to play this. I'm sure I'm going to have a very fantastic time with it as well. So this one is called Worldless, and it's pretty cool. I like the stylish look of it. This is a 2D action platformer with some turn-based combat. It has a very unique look to it. You're obviously playing a character that's bare bones, or maybe no bones at all. Maybe it's just their soul. But the player will be able to walk between physical and astral planes within a shapeless world. So it's pretty interesting. They say that it's going to have mind-bending interpretive narrative. So it's probably something that you're not used to, which is okay. It's good to try something new every now and then. And this is a very nice game to play that's different from something you're used to playing. And it looks like you're going to develop a very unique strategy here to face your enemies that you encounter while you're traversing through this world. This should be a unique experience, and the description says you will embark on a new journey of self-growth and understanding. So that's going to be very interesting, and I can't wait to see what that's about. Alright, so next up we have the Mageseeker, a League of Legends story. That's right, it's going to be in the universe of League of Legends. So you play as Silas, a mage now free from years of captivity. He wields the chains that once bound him. And right away that automatically made me think of Kratos from God of War with the Blades of Chaos. So it's something similar to that, and this is going to be an action RPG. One thing I like about this, it reminds reminds me of the game Eldest Souls. Some of you guys might be familiar. Go look that one up. That's another game I would recommend. This looks just like that with the boss battles here, and it looks very action-packed, very cool. I do like the idea of having something similar to God of War in this form factor, and it's probably going to be an excellent game. I can't wait to sink my teeth into it. It seems like the indie games are on fire this year, and this is definitely one of them. Alright, so next up we have Vernal Edge, and this is a 2D action-packed Metrovania style game, and as you can see, you're side-scrolling a lot and hacking and slashing all over the place. It has a very intense combat system, some tight platforming sequences, and I really like how it's structured here, where you have some boss fights, you have a little bit of dungeon crawling where you're collecting items here and there. Another thing is the description says that this has a powerful story based on rivalry, revenge, and growth. So it has some elements here that I am interested in. I would like to see how that story plays out. I really like these style of games. This is available right now on all platforms, and it's not really expensive at all. You can grab this for less than what you probably spend on food out and about. So definitely pick this up. So next up we have System of Souls, not to be confused with any type of Souls-like game. This is actually very reminiscent to Portal 1 and 2. If you look at it, that's probably the first thing that comes to mind for you. That's what came to mind for me. This is a puzzle and first-person platform game. You play as the robot here and you platform around, you solve puzzles that's given to you by AI intelligence. And as you go along your journey, you are recovering your memories and understanding the world that you're in as you go along. So it's very unique, very cool, very reminiscent of some games from the past, mainly Portal, obviously. And yeah, this is a fun experience here, very unique. I would like to see more games like this from time to time. Alright, so next up we have Little Witch Nobeta, and this is actually a third-person shooter game made by a developer in Taiwan. And as you can see, it has a lot of bells and whistles from different types of games, like a platformer or action-adventure, and as well as a Souls-like genre. And you play as Nobeta, the actual witch herself, and she's traveling throughout the castle and discovering different things and fighting different enemies. A lot of different varieties here, and I like the way that it looks. It's a little bit more unique compared to other games in this type of genre that tries to mimic Souls-likes as well as action adventure games, and I liked how this one plays as well. She's basically using her magic as like third-person shooter. She has a lot of different boss fights as she travels along in her adventure in the castle, and apparently there's also going to be a little cat as well, a little black cat. So it has a couple things that I like, and I am very interested in this one. I believe you can buy this now. It is available on multiple different platforms. So this should be a fun experience, and I look forward to playing this game. Now this game might be the darkest game on my list, and it is a third-person open world survivor horror action RPG. So there's a lot going on there. So this is Bleak Faith Forsaking. I believe it's more Souls-like in a way, and it is actually available right now. You can get this on PS4, Xbox One, and also PC. It has a lot of elements in there that you've seen in other games, you know, since Elden Ring has come out, and it's another game that is in that type of genre, and I'm pretty sure it's still going to be a fun experience for those who are just looking to find another Souls game just to get your kick. And I like the dark feel to it. I like the grittiness to it. The description for it is that you are the last frontier of humanity against the growing horrors of the Omni structures. So, you know, it's pretty cool, Here's a cool one right here. This is Hunt the Night. And this is a RPG action game with a top-down perspective and another retro style look to it. And this game, you're gonna have to be very quick, and you're gonna have some skill here, because this is very fast-paced, action-packed game, and it is dealing with a lot of precision movement as you're taking on a lot of enemies all at once. It has a dark fantasy type element to it. It's very challenging with boss battles, and you play as a character. I believe his name is Vesper Blackbone, and he's a member of a group called the Stalkers. He's in charge of finding the key to reclaiming the perpetual daylight cycle. Not sure what that means, but whatever, I'll go with it. The game has a lot of emphasis on going through dungeons. There's traps everywhere, enemies everywhere, and you're solving a lot of puzzles. This game launches on April 13th for PC to start, and then it's going to come to the consoles at a later date. So keep an eye on this one if you don't have a PC, but if you do have a PC, you'll be ready to jump into this right away. The Sherlock Holmes franchise may be familiar to some. It's definitely a name that rings bells to me from the past. I want to say in the late 90s, early 2000s time for me. This is going to be Sherlock Holmes The Awakened, and I believe this is going to be an original plot line starring Sherlock Holmes himself, and he's going to be accompanied by Dr. John H. Watson, and they're basically going to be investigating a series of strange disappearances around the area within the game. And it's more of a horror game, a little bit of an adventure. You're going to be solving mysteries and puzzles, and you guys are pretty much familiar with how some of these horror games work. These are the ones that are not like Resident Evil where you're shooting up everything and zombies, but it's probably going to have a few jump scares here and there, a few frightening scenes here and there. And I don't really have too many big horror games on this list, but I did want to add one here because it's a familiar name, and I didn't want to just come out and then I didn't get a chance to try it. So I'm going to definitely try this game, and I hope you guys take a look at it. You know, I've talked about this game multiple times on the platform already, but this is Have a Nice Death. It is a jam-packed action game here in the 2D world, and you basically play as the Grim Reaper, and you pretty much just, you know, you're doing what you gotta do, you know, at work. But it looks very, very fun. It reminds me of Hollow Knight, and there's a lot of hack and slash, little platforming here and there. It's very flashy. It just looks like it's fast-paced and fun, and this is available right now. I believe it came out towards the end of March, and you can play this on the Switch and the PC currently. So definitely check this one out. This looks like a lot of fun and a lot of jokes and humor here and there along the way. Here's another cool platformer here. This is Koa and the Five Pirates of Mara. I really like how this one looks. It seems to have a nice sense of speed with this type of platformer here. Still very colorful, very nice looking, just like any other platformer that's coming out nowadays. But this one also looks like it may introduce some form of co-op. I'm not sure, but I've seen more than one character at one point running around in the trailer. It looks like you're still collecting items and solving little puzzles here and there as you're playing the game, and I really enjoy that. I'm still a huge fan of platformers. I'm probably going to say that so many times in this long video, but this is another one, so please support this. Can't wait to try this one out just like the other ones, and it looks like a very cool adventure you're going to play as this little girl. So here's Frogun Encore, and the first game did so well that I guess the developers decided to make another one real quick, and it looks like it could just be DLC, but it's not. It's actually a whole nother full game. So it's more of the same action here, more platforming, adventure, having fun with the old school looking game that's a little bit more polished with today's graphics. You get to have a lot more fun with that universe, with that style. If you're into platformers like me, then this is another cool addition that has a retro look to it, a nice feel to it. I'm really happy to see that the indie world is bringing back platformers by storm. There's a lot of them everywhere, and this one is another one that I look forward to playing, and I hope that you play this as well. Move over, Crazy Taxi, because we have Yellow Taxi Goes Vroom. And I thought this was a crazy cool looking little game here. It has a very, very retro look to it, retro feel to it. It reminds me of the PlayStation 1 as well as the N64. And it just looks cool. It looks fun. It looks like something I would love to play around with. It looks like there's a lot of time challenges. It looks like you can just drive all over the place and just have a good old time in this taxi. And I'm here for this type of game. It's something fresh, something I haven't seen in a while. Definitely check this out. This is going to be fun, especially if you can play this on one of those new handheld devices like the Steam Deck. You know, I never thought the Thing was going to actually get his own game one day. That's exactly what I thought of, was the Addams Family hand. I was like, what? It's got its own game, but I don't think this is connected to that. But this is Super Adventure Hand, and it's basically a little puzzle platformer obstacle kind of thing. And you know, you're just running around with this hand, and you can customize it as well, which is funny. Yeah, you know, I thought this was just pretty cool and unique. Obviously, the first thing I thought of was the Addams Family, so that was like the big pull for me, outside of it being like a cool little platformer. So this is very interesting. I was not expecting to see this type of game for just a hand, but who cares? You know, it's just a nice little platformer. You can also free other hands, I guess, from different traps, and you know, just have a good old time with something like this. What's up, everybody? This is Supreme King. If you made it this far into the video, please give me a like and subscribe if you haven't already. I am working on another video just like this one, as well as more to come, so subscribe so you can see all of that and keep up to date with me. Everything here was on my radar last month, and I just want to share some of these games with you, so maybe you can wishlist them yourself and play a couple of them that are available right now. And without further ado, here's the last 4 games for this video. Peace. Alright, so this is Clash Artifacts of Chaos. Now this game looks crazy. It's like a beat 'em up. It's already out, actually. It's been out for about a month and a half, and it's very, very unique. I have not seen something like this in a while. It does look a little bizarre as far as the character that you're playing as and the little creature that he has on his shoulder. He kind of reminds me of Groot. You know, I am Groot from Guardians of the Galaxy in a way. But I believe he's trying to protect the little creature that stays on his shoulder. He is going through an area and people are trying to capture it, and he has to just fight everybody. It's pretty bizarre, pretty weird looking, but at the same time I am very intrigued. I do like the art style. It reminds me of Borderlands, this type of art style, but I am definitely going to give this a chance. I haven't gotten around to playing it, but it is definitely a high indie-ish kind of game on my radar. I believe it retails at $29.99 as well. It's not a full price game, so definitely check this out, give it a chance. It does look very weird, but at the same time it looks very fun. So here is Stray Lights, and this is one of the coolest abstract looking games on my list. I love the art style here. What you're doing in this game is you're playing a character that's supposed to be battling his inner demons. As he goes through his journey, he's, you know, overcoming himself. These are like his manifestations, and he's going one-on-one with them in different battle scenarios. And there's a lot of different bosses here. There's a big emphasis on combat as well as parrying. So you're going to have to learn and adapt to a lot of its playstyle in order to really achieve big moves and to do your special attack. You're going to have a lot of challenging foes here, and it works pretty well because it goes with the story, because again, you're battling your inner demons and you're overcoming, you know, darker versions of yourself, which is a very interesting idea, and a lot of people probably can relate to that concept. And here's a game that illustrates that, and maybe it can help people even in the real life as they're playing this. So this is pretty cool. It comes out later on this April. You can wishlist this on PC right now, and I'm sure this is going to be a very awesome, unique experience for everyone who tries it. Here's another game that I thought was really cool. This is Rusted Moss, and this is a Metroidvania style run and gun side-scrolling platformer, and it has a lot of cool elements to it. You're running around and you have your grappling hook to get around as well, and you're shooting everything that's attacking you in sight. I'm a big fan of some of these Metroidvania type games, and this one just looks unique enough for me that I wanted to try this. And the grappling hook looks like a pretty cool element of traversing around. It probably will help you dodge certain attacks from enemies when you're fighting bosses. I expect to be able to use the grappling hook to get out of very sticky situations and really get around enemy attacks. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. I'm pretty sure it's going to be really flashy once you get real skillful with it. So this is high on my radar, and I cannot wait to get into it. This is definitely one of the coolest games, and I had to put this at the end. This is The Devil Within SATGAT, and I think this is like an awesome looking samurai game. Definitely reminded me of something like Trex the Yomi or Ghost of Tsushima in 2D form maybe. This looks cool. It looks very, very good. You get to have all of your elements of a hack and slasher. You can also use your gun as well, and you're just pulling off really cool moves, fighting enemies coming from you from the left, from the right, monsters and other creatures in this really nice world. Is very, very nice graphics, and you're fighting a lot of enemies at once, and this one really looks awesome. I really just like the gameplay here. I haven't seen too many games with this type of genre. You know, it's only a couple of them that we've seen here and there. There's a couple games that's more in the Souls-like genre that has samurai action, but nothing that's really 2D that's like really good and worth it. This is definitely going to be one of those games that's going to start bringing back more games like this, and I hope we see more from other developers as well. So I had to conclude the list with this one, and I really hope you enjoyed this really long video, and also subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. This is Supreme King, and I am out. Peace.